If you've ever taken a drawing class and you've had to do one of those lessons where they teach you perspective by drawing a whole bunch of lines and putting some vanishing points in there, and you feel like, hey, I just want to draw something. This isn't going to help me with my actual drawing. Just let me get onto the good stuff. I can see why you might think that. But today I want to show you how to use that perspective idea practically. We're not going to draw a whole bunch of lines. You just have to erase them anyway. But we are going to draw the horizon line. That's it. I'm going to put a person about right here. And people are, for the most part, 8 heads tall. So I find the top and the bottom of the person and the center line. The center line is where the crotch goes. Now I divide that top space in half and the bottom space. And divide each of those 4 areas in half as well. Now you should have 8 equal areas. You can use a ruler for this, or you can just eyeball it. First I circle the head. That's that first square. Then I draw the shoulders just below line 2. And you can make a triangle all the way to the midline. Put an arch where the rib cage goes. And then I'll just rough in the legs and the arms. I have another tutorial on how to draw the figure, so I'm not going to cover it here. Now that we have our figure drawn in, we're going to draw other figures. But first we need to find out a vanishing point. Let's just choose one here on the horizon line. It doesn't have to be here, it can be anywhere. I'm going to draw a straight line from that vanishing point to the top of the figure's head and the bottom of the feet. I'll put in another line here so you see that this figure is 8 heads high. Now here's the most important part. That diagonal line going from the head to the vanishing point will be the top of the head for all of the figures, and the same thing for the feet. So if I want to put a figure here, that second figure will be behind the first. You already have the top and the bottom. Find the midline, that's the crotch. Go halfway again. There's the knees, mid-calf, mid-thigh, belly button, and shoulders. You can put another figure back there. And the reason why this works is that all of these lines are in relation to themselves. And you keep going back into space. Notice that the horizon line is just below the knees in all of the figures. If you had a higher horizon line, it would be intersecting the same body part in all of those figures as well. For example, it would go through all of their necks or all of their belly buttons. It has to be consistent, even though the figure gets smaller as it recedes into space. It goes back toward that horizon line. I'll just draw in this figure using that same sketched in method. It's just a stick man, but you're going to get the idea. And the same thing here. Just sketch that in really quick. Now, when you put in your second vanishing point, I'll just choose one here. You're going to line it up with any one of those figures at the top of the head and the bottom of the feet. You can only do this with one of the figures, but it doesn't matter which one. And now we can project other figures as well, using that same method. Top of the head, bottom of the feet. Let's find the halfway points in each of those, and then fill them in with a stick figure. Now, what if I want to put a figure that's not on those 2 lines? Well, then you have to find a figure that is on the 2 lines and then draw a horizontal line that extends out. And that's what I'm doing here. And that will give you the sizes of a figure in that plane that's that far back. So as long as that horizontal line is even, those figures would be standing in about those areas. I'll show you how to do that again here. So it's a horizontal line from the top of the head, the bottom of the feet. That figure would be standing there. I'll just rough that in. Notice you can do this anywhere. You can fill up a whole page, and I do encourage you to practice this. You see how I'm using one figure that's already there to map out the size of other figures in the same plane. And when I say in the same plane, I mean how close they are to the viewer or how far back receding into the distance. So I hope that helps make perspective a little more interesting for you. I think it is a really fascinating subject, And it is certainly one of the fundamentals of drawing. Do practice a lot. This stuff doesn't come easy, so it does take practice. And know that you are not alone in your practicing. And don't forget, my drawing book, The New Artist's Guide to Drawing, is now available at all major bookstores. Links are in the description below. Happy drawing!